Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to go over my qualifying seller script when we are talking to a seller who owns a piece of land. So this is not where they own, a single family residence or an apartment building or a commercial building. This is when they just own straight up land. These are the questions that I ask, and I am able to properly underwrite or come up with an offer price getting the answers from these questions. So I'm going to have my notes here because there's quite a bit of questions. Land is a little bit different than your single family property. So you need to make sure you have the right questions answered. Now, if you've never done a land deal, that's totally fine. I still think what you could do is you can get these questions answered and just team up with somebody who's done land before and has that experience rather than trying to do it on your own. Land it's different. It's a different beast. It can be a little bit intimidating. You really are dealing with like a different type of buyer with a different type of exit strategy than, your typical single family resident deal. So if you are not sure what to do after, you get these questions answered, team up with someone who specializes in land. So let's get into the questions that I ask on my script when I have a seller. The first thing is introduce yourself. Hey, Mr. Seller, thank you for calling. My name is Lauren. How are you doing today? You want to build some rapport, right? Now, I see you got a piece of land here you might be interested in selling. Do you mind if I ask you some questions? And I'm sure they'll say yes, right? If they don't, they're probably not a motivated seller. Okay, so now here we need to get into the questions. You need to be careful that you ask all these questions and you take down the answers. So question number one, is the land buildable? So you want to hear from the seller, could you build something on this land? Is this land that you could build an apartment building? Could you build, a house on it? I want to know the answer. Is it buildable? The next question, how big is your land? I want to know how many acres it is or how many square feet it is. Number three, is it free and clear of all liens and encumbrances? So there's two things. I want to know, do you have any liens on the property, like any mortgages or any kind of lien that I need to know about? And the next thing is, is there an encumbrance? Is there somewhere where the government has a right of way? You can't build on this piece of land because there's a sewer underneath it and the city needs to access the sewer. Let me give you an example. I bought a piece of land once to build a couple houses on it. I was supposed to be able to build 2 houses on it. Right before we closed escrow, we figured out when we were inspecting that there was an encumbrance where the sewer was underneath one part where we would have built that house. So we actually could not build that second home because we could not block access to the sewer, right? That would be like a huge problem. So we ended up negotiating, getting a huge price reduction on the piece of land because we can only build one home. So that gives you an example of encumbrances. Next question, are all the owners ready and willing to sell? So that's important. Sometimes, these pieces of land are owned by families. You want to make sure that you are talking to all the decision makers. Next question, is there legal access to the land? How would I access this land? So you want to know, is there a road leading up to it? How do you gain access to the land? The next question is, how do I connect to water? Is there, is it connected by a water well or is it city water? That's a very, very important question you need to ask. So make sure you get that answer. Next question is, would this property be connected to sewer or septic? So what that means is if you put houses on this land, is there a city sewer system that you would need to connect to, or do you have to get septic tanks for every single property? So kind of depends on where you're located if you're familiar with sewer and septic. Every area is very different. So personally, me in Orange County, we don't have any septic really. We are all sewer. So I didn't even really know the concept of septic for a while until I actually started virtually investing. So that's an important question to ask. Make sure you get that answer. Next, very important, what is your land zoned for? Meaning, what could you build on it? You know, is it multifamily? Is it zoned for commercial use only? Is it, you know, agricultural land? This is very, very important to know. And lastly, what are the taxes each year? I want to know how much they pay in property taxes and any type of city taxes each year. Those are all the questions that I need to be able to come up with a proper offer for this home. So then I ended up with, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today and giving me those answers. I really appreciate it. I'm going to do my homework. I'm going to go back, punch some things in the calculator, and I am going to get you a price for this property within a day or two. Is that okay? And that from there, you end the call. So that's it, guys. Pretty simple. I hope I explained it well enough for you. If you have any questions, make sure you put that in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.